Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight for our Abercrombie and Kent presentation on where we can travel now. So we're going to be focusing on the Western United States. I'd also like to welcome our regional sales director from Abercrombie and Kent, my very good friend, Cynthia Reed. Cynthia, please go ahead and start our presentation. And for those of you that are waiting for the recording, we'll have that out to you shortly, so you'll be able to see it as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you to all of our friends, our advisors.
Hey, Cynthia, how are you?
Hi, it's great to see you, Bob.
Good to see you.
It's been so much fun working alongside you all these years and coming to visit you and your team in San Francisco. I can't wait till we can do that again very soon. So for now, we're working remotely, Bob from his home office and me from a road trip in Whitefish, Montana. So I am talking about parts of the world that I love and am passionate about and learning more about right now as I work remote at this point. I am the sales director locally, and I want to thank our advisor friends and partners that are on this call, and then our wonderful guests, the Fugazi clients that are interested in learning about USA travel, and also those that have traveled with us. It's been such a privilege to take many of you to your dream destination over the years. So we can't wait to take you somewhere else, and maybe it'll be in the US. So traveling closer to home. This is a picture I took 2 weeks ago in Yellowstone in the winter. I was thrilled to spend a weekend there, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. When Bob and I set this up, we wanted to talk about one of the 22 countries that are open now for travel, and this is the easiest one to get to. So who are we at Abercrombie & Kent? For those of you that have not yet traveled with us, we're a company nearly 60 years on that was founded by Jeffrey Kent on the right and his parents in Kenya all these years ago, where he grew up, his home. And they learned to take a lot more luxury and care and comfort into the bush and develop the Hemingway mobile tented camps. And we still operate these today, and they're really elegant ways to be out in the bush. We are a luxury tour company, luxury expedition cruising, and private travel company going all over the world to over 100 countries. So we are here on the ground, and we have teams that are advising us. We've been operating safely since the last fall as countries open, and we have teams telling us how we're going to safely operate as we open. We've been operating now, as I mentioned, since last fall without incidents. Why can you trust us? Because we are all over the world. We have a lot of flexibility, high global health and safety standards. Nobody has the local presence we do, VIP services, and nearly 60 years of experience. So many people are fascinated by this list. It keeps changing. We all, as travelers, can't wait for more of the world to open up. But look at this, we have 22 countries from which to choose right now. And we would love to help you work with your favorite advisor at Fugazi to make a plan. So to help you encourage confidence in traveling, we have a booking with confidence policy in place by April 30th for any new bookings made for travel through December 31st, 2022. We have a cancel for COVID-related reason up to 15 days before trip departure for COVID-related issues here at home or overseas to where you're going. So it's a really nice book with confidence, flexible plan. Tonight's program is going to focus on 3 areas in our country. That will be the Northern Rockies, the desert Southwest, and Alaska. I'm so pleased to start the American West part of this discussion with Bryce Canyon pictured here. The day after I graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, I loaded up my worldly goods in my little car and drove to my summer job just a mile off the rim. So I got to see many sunsets and sunrises over this spectacular national park. I highly recommend Bryce Canyon if you haven't seen it yet. What we're finding, since we have been taking guests here since last summer and beyond, is that many guests either want to have private yachts or certainly private vehicles. They may want to do one of these great American road trips. They want small boutique properties that are offering privacy and exclusivity, and they may even want to fly in their own private plane. So we are experts at this bubble travel, if you will, traveling with your friends and loved ones that you trust to be safe together. We are the operator to choose and trust for this kind of travel. So this is where we're operating in the Western United States. And why trust us? Because we've got really remarkable guides. I'm going to talk about mine in a minute that I got to experience 2 weeks ago. A geologist on the left for Grand Canyon and some of our Utah experiences, a wildlife photographer in the upper right in the Teton National Park, a John Muir impersonator, a really unique man in our own Yosemite in our backyard. So let's start with the Northern Rockies. You can never go wrong with Jackson Hole and Teton National Park, one of my very favorite parks in our beautiful national park system, and one of my most treasured mountain ranges anywhere in the world. Any time of the year, Jackson Hole and Teton National Park is definitely way up there on my list. And I'd like to suggest you add it to yours if you haven't yet seen them. This is a beautiful fall shot. I'm headed there in a couple of weeks. I love it in the winter to ski and when the crowds aren't there, and it's still a beautiful town to walk around. You can see some of the ski hill in the background here. This is a picture of the National Wildlife Art Museum. And one of our insider access things that we can offer is a private showing after hours and meetings with the artists in residence. So for any of you that love art, and especially the Western big wildlife art, this is a really interesting thing to do. They also have a raptor rehabilitation center in Jackson, and we can have private visits with some of the big birds of prey that can't be released into the wild, but we can meet them up close and personal. There's dude ranches that can be visited privately. There's a floating evening on the Snake River, a really gentle, easy slope river to float down and watch this whole beautiful sunset around the mountains, and cocktails and canapes. It's a really lovely thing to do. We can do private fly fishing lessons. We can do private hiking and of all manner, easy, moderate, or more extreme. We can do a little rock climbing if some in your party want to do that. I did that for one of my birthdays. It was a lot of fun to take a 2-day rock climbing school. So we use Jackson Hole and then northern part of Yellowstone in Montana as 2 points to places to stay to see both parks. Yellowstone is the bigger park, 2.2 million acres. Tetons are smaller park. It's about an hour from Jackson Hole up into Yellowstone. This is one of our real glories in the US, and it's the largest mineral spring that we have. It's the 3rd largest in the world. It's called the Grand Prismatic Spring. So we've got several itineraries that combine these two beautiful parks, and we've got family adapted itineraries that will take into account the different ages of the children or the grandchildren. And we've got all sorts of special things we can do for either, people without kids or people with kids, and we will work with you and your advisor to customize your trip. So 2 weeks ago, I spent 4 lovely days in the park. Here was my guide, Emil McCain, for the day. We work with his company. He's the founder, and he took me for this most memorable day into Yellowstone National Park. So anybody can drive a car, and you'll see some buffalo, you'll see some elk. I know, I tried for 3 days after going in with the day with Emil. I saw a fraction of what a professional like Emil was able to show me. So first off, the logistics. I've not been in anyone's car for basically a year. Was I going to be comfortable inside this really lovely Expedition 4-wheel drive vehicle? Yes, I was, because of this plastic plexiglass. He and I were masked up while in the vehicle, and then we ate and drank and had our lunch outside. And of course, we're outside as much of the day as we could. So I joined people like the upper right on this spectacular Bluebird day, looking in my case for wolves. I'd seen all the other animals, but I'd never seen a wolf in the wild. And he said, I have a good feeling about today, Miss Reed. So first off, you drive into the park and you see lots and lots and lots of buffalo, which to me are thrilling and super exciting. And of course, they have the right of way. And in the winter, there's not many cars there. So it's a really wonderful experience to just stop. You just stop in the road and let the buffalo pass. So with his professionalism, and he works with the other guides that are doing this, much like Africa, for those of you that have been on safari with us, he was using radios and his cell phones. We found bighorn sheep on the lower left, beautiful bighorn sheep. We found a coyote and got some good video of it. Of course, we were seeing lots of buffalo. Found some great elk. He found mountain goat for us, pronghorn antelopes. And here in the lower right is our wolf. I was so thrilled. We saw one female. You can see she's collared here. And because he's really well connected and he used to run some of the biological research on the wolves in the park, he figured out quickly from his friends which wolf she was, which pack she belonged to. Every so often she'd stop and howl, and there was a corresponding receptive howl from another wolf. That people in the park know they're wolves, so they figured out there was two females talking to each other across the road. And we're talking miles of terrain that these wolves are howling across. It was thrilling. We went from one pullout to the next pullout to follow her, and he got her on the spotting scope. This is a picture that he's really great at getting pictures. He got me a lot of video of this wolf. It was really one of the most exciting hours I've ever spent in the wild. And I say that having been so privileged to see so much in Africa, there's nothing like seeing one of our American wolves in the wild. They've been released for 26 years now in the park. It took a couple of years to get the balance back in order with the elk population and some of the other animals. So now that there aren't so many elk because of the wolves, the vegetation is coming back and the riverine systems are really flourishing. Beavers can build their dams, and so that allows for better fish stocks. And it's a really lovely ecosystem in balance. And what Emil said to me is, look, this is one of the few places in America where all of the species are in balance like they were since time immemorial. So first, the predators were disposed of way back in the early days. Now all the predators are back in place and they have this natural ecosystem. It's also one of the few places on the planet that you can look for grizzlies, wolves, and bears. Grizzlies, wolves, and what's my third animal? Buffalo, all in the same place. So it's a very, very special place, Yellowstone. And then in the northern part, which is the only part open in the winter, you can see these beautiful mineral springs. These are Mammoth hot springs. And here's another picture of a wolf up close. In the Tetons and Yellowstone, you can ski. I did a little cross-country skiing in Yellowstone. There's beautiful downhilling in Jackson and good cross-country. There's a big elk refuge, so you can go out on elk tours in Jackson in the winter and see some buffalo. So any time of the year, it's excellent. Our guiding company that we use has a close to 90% wolf spotting rate year round. So anytime you want to come to Yellowstone and let us take care of you, you have a very good chance of seeing wolves in the wild. So our home base, when we're north of Yellowstone, is Sage Lodge, pictured here. It's in the beautiful Paradise Valley. We're looking at Mount Immigrant here. It's 10,000 feet right out of the front of the lodge. I had a couple of nights here. They have spotting scopes. I saw a very special bird, a sandhill crane, which is very hard to see in California, very common there. Beautiful bird. Food was exquisite. All the rooms have this incredible view out across the plains to Immigrant Mountain. And in Jackson Hole, we have several properties that we like. So let's switch now to Arizona and Utah, a place I love near and dear to my heart. I lived for a year and a half in Utah. And we really love this as a base itinerary for Utah. We call it the Mighty Five. It's a tourism board coined phrase, and I like it very much. It's talking about 5 national parks in Utah, and then we can add Arizona if people like, or you can add Las Vegas if you like. So let's start out in the Moab area. This is Canyonlands. Everyone goes to see Arches National Park in Moab, and it is exquisite. Not everybody takes a day to go down into Canyonlands. And so we'll drive you around in these really great four-wheel drive, comfortable vehicles, and your jaw will drop. It's just so expansive, exquisite. Nobody lives there. It's just goes on and on and on, this Red Rock country in Utah. The ways we can make it special, these are dark sky places. We'll bring in some photography guides day or night. People that have used these guides are really so happy with their early morning and their sunset, their golden hour pictures. And the Red Rock just begs to be photographed against this blue sky or night sky. The lighting is really something. Fun things to do are float trips. We can do a gentle float river rafting trip in the Westwater Canyon. And for those that like a little more thrills and spills, maybe not hurting you spills, but that's Cataract Canyon. Both can be done outside of Moab. We have a really nice place we like there, Sorrel River Ranch, which is right along the banks of the Colorado River. Isn't this beautiful? So it gives you some sense of this Red Rock country. So this is the Moab area. And also when you're river rafting, you get to see some of this beautiful cave art. You can see some of it in Canyonlands as well. Proof that our Native Americans lived here far longer than we've been here. And then we move over to Capitol Reef National Park. This is a really great park on the way from Moab to Zion and then Bryce. And just you can see these slot canyons. You get to do a little fishing. This is one of our favorite base lodges here, Cougar Ridge Lodge outside of Capitol Reef National Park. We then go into Zion and Bryce. I call Zion sort of our Red Rock version of Yosemite. So Bryce is the great drop-off, like the sand castles in the sky. Zion is a lot like beautiful canyon that you drive in and you look up on both sides, a little bit like our Yosemite, except it's beautiful red rock. So Tailor-Made National Parks is another itinerary we love that combines Utah and Arizona. And this adds the Amangiri in the middle in Page, Utah. Many, many people have heard of almonds and want to go to this one. It's so unique. You can go to Lake Powell for the day and see Rainbow Bridge National Monument. This is the Grand Canyon, of course, that you'll see with us on any Arizona itinerary, but we'll do it a little bit differently. We have a private guide meet you, and unless we're guiding and driving you, but we'll meet our guide at the park. We'll get immediate access and we'll go to places on the rim that not everyone goes to. Here's this Rainbow Bridge seen from Lake Powell. It's a really spectacular arch. And one of the hidden things that not every company will take you to, but we're a fan of for good reason, this is Monument Valley. This is home of the 500,000 strong Navajo Nation. This is where the Navajo code talkers called home. They have a small museum here honoring the code talkers. And these are remarkable men that helped us in World War II to defeat the Japanese because of their unique language skills. And look how exquisite it is. Monument Valley goes on and on and on. So we enter here with a Navajo guide. We can meet weavers. They have a really great hiking, and they use their native botanicals and plants for all their weaving, and some for their sculpture and pottery and their beautiful turquoise jewelry. For anyone that wants to do some hiking, which I've done over a New Year's visit here with a Navajo guide, it's a really wonderful thing to do. And of course, there's great rock art here. So you absorb a lot of the connection to the land from your guide, who is going to be sharing how special this land is to the Navajo people. We have the Great American Road Trips. We can do this for you, driver guided road trips that will take you around multiple places. You can, for those of you that want to drive, can drive and meet us for guiding services and accommodations along the way. We'll work with you any way that you want to go. Basically, my encouragement is to get out there and see our wonderful Western states. And this is one of our most popular itineraries. Many people are telling us that they're prioritizing privacy over price. So this year, that means using a private plane. We can help set that up for you. You can do this whole itinerary. You can pick out the parks you haven't seen, and we'll work with you to get the private plane so that you're traveling absolutely exclusively with your party. Now let's head to Alaska, and we're so pleased to offer the wild country of our own Alaska. I flew out one night years ago on a trip from San Francisco to Anchorage. I had a quick overnight. I then flew to Kodiak the next day, and I was out viewing spectacular grizzly fishing experiences, sort of 16 hours after leaving home, and thought, this is amazing. So Alaska's big and accessible, and we'll make it really comfortable for you, and we know the right ways to get around. And so this is Denali, our highest point on our continent. It's 20,310 feet in a beautiful fall shot. We have different places that we like to stay inside the park, outside the park. We can river raft, we can hike. We've got flights over, in this area. And look at the beautiful Fiordland glaciers. There's Glacier Bay, there's Kenai Fjords, there's multiple other places that the fjords can be viewed. This is Katmai National Park, where I was mentioning that I had seen these grizzly bears so soon after leaving my own home. This is at Brooks River Falls. We can get you in here. You walk about a mile in. It's very fun. You kind of wiggle a car keys, or you make some noise. You say, hey, bear, hey, bear. You go in for the guide. The bears will leave you alone. They just want to know you're around. And then you get to this bear viewing platform, and there is this Brooks River and its falls. And truly, this bear was there that day. He'd gotten the memo from the tourism board and was doing exactly this. He or she just stands right in the middle of the falls and waits for the fish to jump right in their mouth. Meanwhile, all the mates of this bear are on the side. Some are swimming down under the water. Some are in the middle of the water, waiting around. The little young grizzlies are trying to find the flopping fish and kill and eat them. It's really something to see. So I highly recommend Katmai and the Brooks River Falls. There's so much to do between fly fishing and enjoying these remote lodges that we have special contacts with. Beautiful food and wine is served. You can see the Northern Lights. Many people want to go in the winter, and we've got a nice Northern Lights itinerary, but you can see the Northern Lights in the summer as well. I've done that in Fairbanks, not this pretty green, they were white, but you can see them year round if you're lucky. Just it's more vibrant in the winter. Of course, try dog sledding if you'd like, and photography, kayaking. You can get as active with hiking as you'd like to, and we've got the guides for all of that. We also have family experiences like this itinerary here. So yeah, you tell us how much time you've got, and we'll get you around Alaska in the most remarkable way. I wanted to mention this really special place called the Sheldon Chalet. It's on the flanks of Mount Denali, and you fly in with a float plane, and then you land on the glacier to get into this, and you buy out the whole property. It's 4 bedrooms and an exquisite chef, and you spend a night or two there with your friends and family and can do all manner of activities during the day. And they have these beautiful fire rings. You sit around and watch the sun set around you on the flanks of Mount Denali. That's really something. We have 2 special ways that you might want to consider seeing Alaska. That's chartering this beautiful small ship, Sea Mist, out of Whittier in Prince William Sound. It's 3 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms with 3 crew. This a little 3 or 4 night cruise just to do a short cruise around. Alaska is a great way to go. And this Kaori, we really like. It's a sailing and motor yacht, and it offers 7-day, 6-night itineraries for your own private inside passage experience. So starting up this late May, it's a really great thing to charter for up to 9 guests and 5 crew. And that because it's both sailing for the beauty of the sailing and the efficiency of the motor yachting, it's a really wonderful thing to consider chartering with your friends and family. I wanted to show you some of the bedrooms, exquisite. And as an exclusive and thank you to Fugazi Travel clients for listening tonight, we want to offer you a savings for any new bookings made by April 18th of this year. We will reduce your price by $250 per person. Speak to your favorite Fugazi travel advisor, and we can offer this as a thank you. So whether your dreams will take you to Alaska or the beautiful red rock colors of the desert Southwest or the spectacular Northern Rockies, we are ready to take care of you and your friends and family. And we look forward to doing so here in our own backyard or anywhere else that you'd like to travel. So with that, I want to ask Bob to come back on and just thank you so much for your attention and your interest, and answer any questions if there are some.
Cynthia, thank you very much. This was a great presentation. One of the things I wanted to make a special call out and thank you for is the adaptability that you and A&K have shown. You rolled out these amazing US programs in a super timely fashion, and the way you're on top of where in the rest of the world is ready to welcome us is so gratifying. That's why we're so happy to have you as a preferred partner. Thank you again. I don't see any questions, but thank you all for participating, and I hope to see you and other people on our next Abercrombie & Kent presentation.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.